Welcome to another episode of Leading Our Adventures, your venturing podcast. My name is Hannah, and I'm so excited to be guiding you through this episode today. Our 23rd episode is going to be about venturing and NYLT. Did you know that venturers can complete National Youth Leadership Training? We're going to dive into one of Scouting's most transformative programs. This program is renowned for shaping and empowering youth with essential leadership skills and preparing them to make meaningful impacts in their troops, crews, lodges, and beyond. Joining us is someone with a wealth of experience in scouting and in NYLT, along with a dedicated venturer who has attended and staffed multiple NYLT or National Youth Training courses. They've been actively involved in everything that Scouting has to offer and has most previously served as the youth course leader for a greater NYLT council. Michael, welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. Would you like to introduce yourself just a little bit? Tell everybody anything you would like about your scouting experience. How did you get where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Hannah. My name is Michael Esimio. I am a proud Eagle Scout. I am a venturer of Crew 65, heavily involved in the Order of the Arrow. I serve as the current Lodge Chief for Lenape Lodge of Garden State Council. And as you said, I was most recently our most recent course for NYLT. I had the great opportunity to serve as the youth course lead. And I'm excited to staff again next year. It's always a great experience.
I love it so much. What motivated you as we're starting? Some people don't know that venturers can do NYLT. So fun fact of the day, crew advisors, crew presidents, send your people to NYLT. What first motivated you, Michael, to attend National Youth Leadership Training in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people, and it sounds silly, don't really know that, venturers can attend NYLT, and I'll get into that later, why you should attend NYLT as a venturer. It's a great experience. But me personally, what motivated me, I think I just turned first class, it was, thinking back at my troop level. And the way our troop did it is they pick one person or two people, and everybody wanted to do it. This was this, mysterious thing. We had our camping trips as a troop, and we had our one or two, greater events where you saw the council. Maybe it was the state camporee, or maybe it was a Klondike, things like that. But this was really this kind of experience that nobody really knew what they were getting into. It was NYLT, but everybody wanted to do it. So the way our troop did it, we had one or two people picked per year, and our troop paid for that person to go. It was this week-long experience. When they told me I was going to attend NYLT, I was like, oh my goodness. I was truly excited. I couldn't get the grin off my face, to say the least. But it was this just amazing feeling. So, motivation in the first place, it's that strong troop kind of culture about what NYLT is, if you will. That's really what got me into it. And we'll see later, after I attended NYLT, it was, even better than that.
I love it. I love it so much. And I know that different councils have because it's a program run by your council, but if I come to you in the New Jersey area, it's going to be the same syllabus that if I go to my friend in Texas, and if I go to another friend in Florida. So it's amazing how it all comes together. And can you describe your overall experience and some key takeaways that you had coming out of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said perfectly. It is this national course that, councils are able to run. Garden State Council is going to have the same as your councils in California or Texas or any state, any council, it is, the same syllabus, and it is just every detail is worked out to be perfect for the scouts, to let them have their opportunities to learn. For me, my personal experiences at NYLT, to give you a little background information, NYLT is like this model of a unit setting. It's 1 month of a perfect, like ideal, if you will, unit. Everything you do from the troop meetings to the big event at the end of the month, if you have an event every month, things like that, your PLC meetings, everything that you would do in a troop condensed into 1 week. It's really trying to teach you, take these skills, learn how to do it, take it back to your unit and thrive off of it, is what we're trying to teach. And yeah, like I said, the PLC meetings, unit meetings, cooking. I mean, what better team building, patrol building activity is there other than cooking? Whether that's good or bad.
I mean, throw together 6 different people that you've never met before. Cooking can be a very team building experience. Sometimes not what you expect.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's important to realize, even though the result is not what you expect, that result being whatever food you're cooking, it's not about the result. It's about the journey along the way. It's about that team building that you've gone through, whether you made, your beef Wellington or you burnt something. It's really about that team building along the way. I mean, it's NYLT overall is not really what you expect. You see the parents and you kind of see what they think about it, and the scouts, they all usually think it's like, oh, it's a week long. That's summer camp. And then when they get to course, they're like, what is this? This is not summer camp. Because that's what they're used to. They never had this transformative experience before. In my opinion, one of the best experiences in scouting, and honestly in life. I always tell people that I knew by day 2 of NYLT, which is your kind of storming stage where you're kind of the most conflicts happen, and I just knew I wanted a staff. That it opened my eyes, like this greater idea, this quintessential idea of what a troop could be, what a unit could be. It really empowered me to take that back to my unit and let them thrive off of it. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you, how did you feel about your experiences when you took your course?
Oh, that's a great question. I felt very empowered. There was a lot of things I had done, goal setting and time management with my crew, and we went in more detail after or through NYLT, and I was able to put more pieces together. I felt like I had some of the pieces, and it led to a lot of personal growth for me, and it really exemplified what a vision is, helped me with my advancement when it came to personal growth. So I knew how to create those goals. And I really love how everything on day 1 builds on day 2, and so on. And I also didn't know it when I started, but there's a lot of networking that you have. A lot of, oh, your crew or your unit does this differently than mine. Maybe I can implement that, or maybe what mine does it a little bit better. I also came away with how a patrol leaders council should work, and how that could be better. My crew was not it at that point, not doing those very productively, and NYLT showed me how I could do that productively. Wow.
Yeah.
You're throwing questions back at me. I love it. My next question for you is, how has NYLT impacted your personal leadership skills and abilities? Because you've had a few courses that you've staffed, and you went through it. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's more than I can talk about, to be honest with you. My personal leadership skills and abilities. I mean, to begin, from when I took my participant year, my actual course, this was an eye-opening experience. I mean, I came back to my unit, felt like a completely different person. And when I applied my skills when I started. I mean, I went to that unit meeting and I showed the scoutmaster that I had a unit meeting planning sheet, and he was like, what is this? And it was great experience. We together we became more organized. We had more meaningful activity, and I think the troop because of it. You know, after the troop, besides I've in the lodge, for example, I mean, leadership skills are essential, especially when overseeing teams and committees and working with just a great team of officers. It's a lot, and those foundational skills, those personal leadership skills and abilities that are taught at NYLT are absolutely prevalent in that aspect. I mean, in the troop, I felt that shortly after my time at NYLT, I was beginning the process of completing my Eagle Scout project, and I felt that I was just using in each of those planning guides or in each of those 3 absolutely pouring days that just happened to be my Eagle Scout project days, that even though it was pouring and even though morale was low, it wasn't a hard job to manage that leadership, to facilitate that leadership. I mean, in my life, in school, for example, mentor societies, I am a part of some of them. I have leadership positions in, and I find myself always looking back to scouting, saying, I did this at NYLT. I did this in my scouting career. And it's amazing to see how now that these skills I have from scouting, they're not just scouting skills anymore. There are these skills that I can apply to a broader audience, a broader aspect in basically my life, which is just an incredible feeling to have.
I love that. Do you want to give an example of a specific time or specific technique?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, for example, leadership, I mean, especially in the lodge, I think that is most prevalent is, I'd say, conflict resolution. And people think conflicts are like fights when they think about it, but it's not. A conflict can be this small thing, and a conflict can be nothing but something that can be prevented beforehand. And that's what we teach at NYLT. We don't teach, action, this is the cause, this is the effect, this is what we do. We say, these are some of the things that can happen, and these are, change is going to happen. We don't just look to address change, we look to lead change and adapt to change differently. I mean, you're going to have so many different people in life. You're going to have those who, you can read them like a book, and you just know how, okay, this person and this person don't like each other, and we know what steps we need to take. And then you're going to have those volatile people, those capricious people, and that's really what we teach at NYLT. How do we address not just Bob over here, but every single type of, and you can't address everything, but the broader aspect of our population, and really what we're going to see in real life. It was for me a jump start into leadership. At this point, it was time after I went to NYLT. This is when I was getting involved in the lodge. This is when I was, assisting in my troop and really getting that back on track. It branches in so many different ways. It teaches you patience, a form of acumen, really. I mean, you think of all the different, every single day on NYLT, you are taught a tiny dose of communications every single day. It's such an important topic that we hold. Our last day, we teach only communicating with adults, because guess what? Communicating with adults is different than communicating with your peers, is different than communicating with your scoutmaster versus your teacher. It's completely different. So those are some of the specific kind of principles or techniques that I find myself personally using in my daily life that I've learned from NYLT.
I love it. I love it. I heard a lot. You didn't say the word teamwork, but I heard a lot of emphasis when it comes to your experience being parallel to teamwork. Have you seen those principles of team building play out in your scouting activities or other aspects of your life? Maybe like through course as a youth, have you seen youth grow through your time on staff?
Oh my goodness, have I seen them grow? I've seen, oh, I've seen people that were next to me or people that were before me that when I've gone on staff that I've watched them grow along the way. I've seen them in their troop, and I was like, okay, let's do ILS. Let's do this together. Let's have it as a troop, and then let's go to NYLT. And then after that, they just bloom into this exploding. You can't stop them. It's incredible to see. So just the thought that you have people like that, and you can see that you really make a difference to the future generation of leaders, because that's the whole goal here. In the lodge, like I said before, it's extremely prevalent in the facilitation of the growth of a team of officers and our LEC members, all of our committees that fall under our lodge, to ultimately work as a cohesive team. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just the satisfaction of watching young scouts come together, and they have problems, but they work things out and they plan together, and they do it all together, especially on course. It's like a huge difference from them. A week before, they're in school and they're playing sports, and they're gonna play video games, and they have all this technology, and then a week later they're like in this whole new world where they get to experience this teamwork and cohesiveness, which they haven't really seen in this aspect before. And then a week later, they all say, every single person is like, I don't want to go back. I want to continue with this. And that's
Right. I love that so much. I remember one of the courses that I was at, we had the shy group. I had a female patrol, shy group of female scouts, from different backgrounds, some from crews, some from troops. I think one was in a ship. And we got to the point where we were reviewing our lashings, because some of us don't know them, some of us do. So we reviewed lashings, and then they had a lashing game. They started out at the instruction portion. They were like, I don't know about this, because us venturers don't do knots and lashings as much. But by the end, they were all working together with this relay race, and they ended up winning. Yippee for Yellow Patrol, shout out there. But this was a very pivotal moment. I also had somebody that went through NYLT. She was my VP of admin, and Michael, our stuff was a wreck. Our health forms were all technically in a binder. But if I got hurt, I don't know if you could have found my health form very, very well. She came back from NYLT, and she was like, I'm going to make this happen. We're going to get all of our papers in order. We're going to catalog. We're going to start a Google Drive. And when people ask me, should advisors send their scouts to NYLT, the answer is always yes, yes, yes. Going off of team building, what about a team building experience that left a lasting impact on you? What do you think about when somebody's like, hey, NYLT, without like explaining exactly what it is? What team building experience did you take away?
Yeah, so for me, thinking back to when I had my participant year, the biggest team building activity I could think of was the end of the week. Like I mentioned before, this big event that they have that simulates your camping trip that you have in a troop, like your once a month camping trip, something like that. And this was this activity that simulated that. And you were with your patrol. You had your patrol, and that's it. You took all the skills that you've learned throughout the week, and and all the team building that you'd gone through with your patrol, and you had that in your two hands. I mean, it was incredible to not just, it's a little different than on a troop trip. You've known everybody for years. You got the scoutmaster there, and you have your assistant scoutmasters. But just to meet these new people 5 days ago, it's this incredible experience. It's truly the pinnacle of team building, in my opinion, that event. From staffing perspective, after my participant year, my most memorable event was I remember this crystal clear. It was after our first staff development, and we were finished, and we didn't even know we were going to have our staff development because it was in January, and it snowed, and it snowed, and it snowed, and it snowed so hard. The roads were horrible, and we were just, messaging on Slack like, hey, are we going to be able to do this? Are we open? How are the roads? Things like that. And it was a lot. I mean, we ended up starting, half an hour late, but I mean, hey, for the snow, actually, it was pretty good, only half an hour late. But nonetheless, looking back at it, I just remember this one event that's just ingrained in my head. At the very end, I went up, after everybody left, we did our start, stop, and continue. And, the course director came up to me, and it was just, it was ineffable, to say the least. He came up to me, and he told me words I'll never forget. He told me that I was the cornerstone of this course this year, and he told me he was proud of me. And, and he gave me actually the thing I wear on my wrist every scouting event now, passed down on to him. It's this very nice kind of cobra knit bracelet, but it represents not just a fancy accessory, but it represents the ties of brotherhood, and then the ties between those people you work with, that you work together. It was just this paradigmatic moment. I'd never had anything like it before, and I'll never forget it. It truly inspired me. That is on par with what I had experienced after I was done NYLT. It was those after NYLT, greatest moment of my life. And after that first staff development, I was like, this is why I do this. This is what kept me going, and I'll never forget that.
I love that. Love that so much. Oh, very heartwarming moment. Communication, as we talked about on the before we started this episode, communication is a critical aspect of leadership. In what ways? So we know we talk about communication a lot. What have you personally taken away?
Yeah, so like I said before, you get a lot of communication. I mean, communication, in my opinion, is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing that you learn at NYLT. Just my personal experience. Just with using it on a daily basis, it is crucial. For life, you need to know how to speak to somebody, and that's it. I mean, it teaches, like I said before, there's different people. You really have to juxtapose your speech between that person that's one way, the type A, and the person that's, excuse me, another. Completely different people, but you're taught that at NYLT, how to talk to different people from day one. It really, the communication aspect after coming back from NYLT, going into the Order of the Arrow, for example, when I first got started. I mean, it truly, like I said before, NYLT after that fostered my career, helped me to prosper. It truly opened my eyes to what scouting had to offer for me. you go to you start in your troop and you see just your troop maybe, and maybe a couple other events, but it really just opened my eyes. It introduced me to the Order of the Arrow, higher leadership. I got to meet, these people called officers from the Order of the Arrow and the Venturing Officer Association. All of these great people who were so adamant about scouting, like I was. It was great to see a likeness like that, like I'd never seen in my troop before. It was a huge positive impact on my NYLT career and my career in life so far.
I love it. We've kind of made it through the ALPS model here, Michael, as our conversation has ebbed and flowed. We talked about the adventure. You've just talked about your leadership and the impact of teamwork. And NYLT is not just about leadership. It's also about personal growth. And I know that had a big impact on me. Can you share how NYLT has contributed to your personal development?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, adventure, leadership, personal growth, and service. You hit all of those points at NYLT, and it's for a reason. Personal growth for me, it's attested to, specifically my personal growth. It's really attested to NYLT's kind of heuristic approach, if you will. It lets you decide. It's not like a choose your own adventure, but the course is what you make of it. You go in and you say, I want to make the most of this course, and I am going to give it everything I have. And I guarantee you, when you come out 6 days later, you will be a new person. If you want to. That's what NYLT can give you, the skills. But you also need to take that step saying, I'm willing to become this this better person. I want to improve my unit, my crew, and I want to do more with scouting. Not to mention all the friends I made in scouting. It's been incredible for me, incredible experience, an incredible experience for a lot of kids. I mean, some people are the most social people in the world. They do everything. They're social butterflies. They're the popular kids at school. That's one or two people. I mean, you have everybody else. And for a lot of people, I mean, especially me, scouting was my thing. It brought me this, it made me come out of my shell. It brought me this feeling I've never had before. NYLT specifically is unlike any other crew or venturing style training. It's even unlike introduction to leadership skills for crews. It's different than that, even though similar. It's not necessarily like austere, for example, but it's this choose your own adventure thing. It's really what you make of it. It truly is.
And if you'd like to find out more, please go to NYLT, because there's things that kind of are kept kind of close so that we don't ruin the surprise of what happens, like some of the different development aspects. And I guess that's the best marketing.
Yeah.
For NYLT. It's what you make out of it, and you should go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to find the right words to say without spoiling anything for y'all. Right. But it's truly a transformative experience, and I promise you, if you go to it, you will. If you go to it and you want to go to it, you will come out a better person, a new person, one willing to lead change in your unit, your crew.
Yes, lead change. So Michael, you're trying to convince a crew, your newly elected crew leader, to attend NYLT. What's one aspect of the experience that you would emphasize?
If I had to choose just one aspect, that convincing somebody it's truly that it pushes you out of your comfort zone. It's this, it just, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it truly pushes you out of the comfort zone. All of the different aspects and skills that we teach. Again, I just have to say, you have to try it. You have to try it. And if you don't like it, 6 days later is 6 days later. But I guarantee you won't feel that way 6 days later.
You have your little bubble of comfort, and then you have to live a little.
Absolutely. It's your little red bubble. I mean, in our little red bubble for the participants, little red bubble for the course as a whole. I mean, in Garden State Council, for example, I was so proud. We had huge strides in diversity improvement within our course. I'll ask you this from your perspective. You've staffed many courses, many years. How have you seen, the increased diversity within our program benefit not just NYLT as a course, but with their respective participants that they hold?
Right, definitely. Well, I definitely don't think this is where course directors come to get the high and mighty advice, I guess. But from my experience, if you're a venturing leader, if you're somebody in a crew and you're about to start a course, this syllabus is very helpful with integrating different kinds of scouts, using more neutral language like units instead of crews and specifically, or troops, have been helpful. And then letting people from different units know. I was talking to a crew advisor 2 days ago, actually, and they were like, I didn't know I could send my venturers to NYLT. Letting your female troops know, hey, this is a program and you can get a lot of benefit from it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
I love that. How, based on your experience, Michael, how would you address concerns or reservations to someone who might be on the fence of attending NYLT? You said that they're going to be pushed out of their comfort zone. Now they're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be pushed out of my comfort zone. And maybe the parent's like, oh, I'm not sure if this is not like summer camp.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great point to make that there are a lot more people than you think that are really on the fence, and how much we can improve just by, getting those people on the NYLT side of the fence, if you will. But it's the people have this kind of preconceived notion, this preconceived misconception that, after NYLT, they take the kids, they take them to the council events, and that's all they'll do, and they'll leave the troop. And I look at that and I almost laugh. I mean, from my perspective, that's not the goal at all. For NYLT, it is meant to take the knowledge that they learn, everything. I mean, like I said before, it is 1 month in the model unit, in that model crew, in that model troop, whatever. And it takes those experiences, those unit experiences, and it teaches you the right way to do those things, in addition to some life experience, some leadership experience. I find it funny when people say they're gonna take the kids away from the troop. It's not. These NYLT is run solely by the youth, for the youth. They're taking that knowledge back to their crew, helping them flourish. That is our ultimate goal out of NYLT, to do that, to train the future generation of youth. That's all I can ask for.
I love that so much. And Michael, to kind of start to finish up, so they're flourishing, but how can potential attendees make the most of their NYLT experience?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. To make the most of it, go in with an open mind. If you're that person that's about to go in day one and you're stressed, you don't know what to do, go in with an open mind. try to persevere a little more than you will. Like I said earlier, these skills are the same thing that they spend thousands of dollars, the CEOs spend thousands of dollars to teach their executives these skills, these indelible life skills that you will utilize in your life and you will never forget. Go in with an open mind, persevere. You're going to have many leadership experiences in life, but you're only going to have one NYLT. It's not a summer camp. It is this one-time experience that you will never forget. Absolutely make the most of it.
I love it. Make the most of it. Highlight, underline, if you take that one thing. And thank you so much for joining me today to talk about your experience, Michael. To wrap it up, is there one message you like to convey to scouts, venturers, considering NYLT?
Yeah. In life and in scouting, might be today, it might be a week, it might be a month, it might be years from now. Leadership is not just a skill you learn. It's a legacy you build. And I implore every single one of you watching, no matter if you're from a crew, you're a venturer, or you're a scout, a troop, start it at NYLT. Start that legacy at NYLT.
I love it. Could not have said it any better than that. Thank you, Michael, for joining and sharing your experience. And thank you all at home for watching. Hopefully the information was helpful to everyone at home. From personal growth to lifelong friendships, NYLT, at least for me, has offered a truly unique experience that has stayed with me well beyond this scouting bubble and has gone into professional and college life. To those considering NYLT, remember what Michael said. Leadership isn't just about the skills you learn. It's about the legacy that you build. What kind of legacy are you going to build at NYLT? Until next time, keep striving, growing, and remember the best leaders are those who empower others to shine. I'll see you on our next adventure. Bye, everybody.